desert, many lying floating in colonial times.
Why would the pigs make war in winter? They must have a reason, something to gain.
A tall man dressed in a colonial era suit with a serious look on his face, and his agitated soul has been sitting pacing around or quickly striding through different areas of the statehouse in a stalwart, determined manner. Lastly, I think the most significant haunting type of the statehouse.
Guards here are vigilant.
No, to hunt down the pig chief.
1770, amidst the American Revolution, 9 British soldiers shot a handful of people in a crowd that were protesting against them, resulting in 3 immediate fatalities, injuring a few others, making social movements. This event would go on to be recognized as the Boston Soft nights right around 9 o'clock, which was when the massacre transpired. Those near the total sun, bright yellow and orange lights that flare up outside of windows in that direction, as if supplied by countless lanterns or torches on street light, simply there. And this light is usually followed by a series of demonstrations
No!
which is located in Rochester, Massachusetts, is a massive 42,000 square foot historic alongside additional educational materials for years. It's now for class field trips and tourists alike, and its products are thought to harm as the students inside the very real, very historic image that we appeared that it once placed in. So, take it! Starts industrialist and entrepreneur in the area, and to also own the largest rests in the Johnny wasn't going to be a experience and travel for years by chance, he saw the world to the YouTube comments. It was absolutely fascinating. It's working with the straight individual people in the real companies and steel products. In 1927, he just add to his collection one George J. Buell, who by this time, his house, which he could use to store out start construction on moving steel and glass museum building right next to his factory. Subsequently, what was called the Museum of Steel and Glass would open its doors on January 12th of 1931 to a grand gala that featured society's elite and performances by the Boston Symphony Orchestra. Oh, appearance by Higgins'
You're on the wrong side of the giant's wall, friend. Have you come to make war in winter?
This museum's design would promote a variety of displays involving jewelry, armor, artifacts, and also automobile
Fool!
parts.
He might have talked!
Even an all-steel airplane.
We got what we came for.
Ultimately, this educational venue was a very smart move. Entrepreneurially
Is that more
speaking,
Frankish
of course.
wine?
As Higgins
I'll
would
take a
run
few
tours that
casks.
started with his
And that
impressive
silver
art
there.
collection,
Ulfer,
that moved through the
let's
ages,
half and share.
including a show in his modern steel
Eivor,
production,
just in time to divide the
especially
spoils.
during catwalks
Take
that
some
ran
meat if you
across
like.
the room were
The
open
Picts
to
had
visitors
madness.
who roamed overhead
This map
while
spells it out.
full-scale steel
Ah, the
presses.
wolf
Higgins
kissed
was so
is a reader.
enthusiastic about his
That
company
Stark
he
say
encouraged
that
the
I'll
employees
worry
to
about the
visit
Picts.
and
It
hang out
should-
on breaks, or even during their time off, and they often did, in
Fair
order to
enough.
find inspiration in their
If you
own lives.
insist.
Sadly, Higgins would pass on in 1961 and would leave a $17,000 endowment.
A little sour, but not bad.
The museum opened to
I've
the
always
public.
preferred
Its
ale
core base
myself,
publicly funded
or spiced meat.
ongoing operation. And over the years, through various events,
What I won't
fundraisers,
drink
and
is
more,
one of
the
Moira's-
museum was able to allocate
Why?
funds
Then
necessary
let Mag-
to
but
remain in
no, if we-
constant operation. More recently, in 1980, the site would be added to the National Register of Historic Places.
Nanos,
And while
deliver this
several
when-
renovations have taken place in museum grounds, nothing has been altered.
Like
And this
his
impressive
cock,
construct that looks like something of the finest appears today very much like good when Higgins did a placement for the first time so many years ago. In the present, while a bulk of the museum's collection has been moved to the Dorchester Art Museum, the Higgins Armory remains a historic landmark and noteworthy site visited by countless travelers from all walks of life each and every year. Now, quite simply put, the whole of the Higgins Armory Museum is believed to be haunted by a ridiculous number of spirits tied to the artifacts that spent so many years there, and activity within is so intense that it's warranted the museum contacting a number of occult or religious specialists, and has even resulted in the same being featured on the popular paranormal investigation TV show, Ghost Hunters. Both staff and visitors to the museum have reported disembodied footsteps heard across its vacant floors when no one else is around. Odd snippets of muffled conversations that some swear are in different languages, and ominous black shadows that have been both captured in photos and videos, and also observed by the naked eye. Some have told odd tales in which they've entered the building to find it packed with rows of suits of armor, and have looked around in astonishment before ever going to the blinking eye, while others have whispered more terrifying instances in which the suits of armor begin to move by themselves, dismount their stands, and approach as if preparing for battle. Also reported across the property are
calm
strange
down.
ringing noises, old-timey music without swords, and the
Stop, you
unbelievable
idiot.
feeling of being attacked or touched by hallucinogens. And paranormal investigations held on site have yielded strange temperature fluctuations, odd reactions from dogs, and unexpected looks of broken spirits. While no one has reported being threatened by those signs, some experiences are far less than pleasant. On several occasions, witnesses have told of hearing the phantom sounds of battles long lost to time, ferocious yells, the sharp clash of swords, and the clatter of countless feet, while others have described grotesque scenes in which they've stumbled upon dead bodies clad in armor and bearing horrific wounds. Lastly, the Higgins Armory Museum's most famous ghost is none other than that of old John Higgins himself, who's been known to appear so solid as he greets visitors that they think him an actual living staff member before turning for a split second to find he's disappeared.
Control that beast!
Our Court Pond is just a short drive northeast of our last, and lies tucked away as the cozy and surprisingly haunted Longfellow's Wayside Inn.
What the?
Longfellow's Wayside Inn, or simply just the Wayside Inn, which is placed out of Sudbury, Massachusetts, is a historic lodging that boasts the title of being literally the oldest operating inn in the country. Its grounds are extremely popular for weddings, events, and sightseers from all walks of life, and it carries with it a somewhat infamous reputation for strong paranormal activity experienced within it. Historically, and this is literally from what we can tell, because this place actually contains accurate documentation. The Inn's archive holds papers that date back to as early as 1696, though it could have existed much earlier. And they also contain an official criminal license that was granted to David Howe in 1716. Howe would run the establishment as a family business and eventually moved and paid for by his son to on the height of the submarine movement in the American Revolution. Notably, during its earlier years, it's documented that two enslaved individuals also lived with him, being an unnamed girl and a man that everyone called Portsmouth. Who gives us heroes? The wayside would remain in the hands of the Howe family until 1816, when the fifth generation Howe, Lyman, passed on and married without children. In the following year, the family was transformed into what was called the Red Horse family, and during this time, it would be visited by famous poet Henry Wadsworth Longfellow, who described the site as a rambling, tumble-down building 200 years old until now in the family battles. Longfellow would go on to write a compilation of poems titled Tales of the Wayside Town, while staying right on site, and he would release his work in 1863. In 1893, the cavern was purchased by Howe family member Herbert Howe, along with owner Rogers, and notably, Rogers was actually the first non-Howe to have a hand in the business. Herbert, however, had no intention in keeping the land, and together, the duo would meticulously renovate and improve the property before, in 1897, selling it to one Edward R. Lemon, who converted it back into use as an inn. More recently, in 1923, the last owner of the inn was actually the auto tycoon Henry Ford himself, who visited a few times and fell in love with the site, and he started planning to develop it into a historically oriented village museum. Unfortunately, Ford never accomplished his goals, but he did establish a non-profit aimed at the inn's preservation, one which still operates the same to this day, along with its museum, garden, and archives. Ford would also go on to establish a boys' school that operated on site from 1928 to 1947, and even married to millions despite people. When all was said and done, Ford reported that he spent no less than $1,616,956.11 on the project. And while he cherished it, ultimately, he accomplished his own museum in the form of Greenfield Village of Dearborn, Michigan, and in 1945 would sell the wayside. Sadly, a decade later, in 1955, the inn was gutted by a large fire, and along with most of its interior, the blaze would also claim irreplaceable antique collections provided by Ford. Repairs were swift, however, and during the process, the inn was actually returned to its exact state during the time Longfellow stayed there, following a $500,000 grant from the Ford Foundation. In 1958, the inn was reopened, and it's remained as such ever since. In the present, Longfellow's Wayside Inn remains open to this day, marking it, as mentioned earlier, as the longest operating inn in the whole of the country. And it offers accommodations, tours, and hosts all manner of events each and every year. Now, not really all that surprisingly when considering how long this place has actually been standing. The whole of the wayside is rumored to harbor a number of ghosts tied to its lengthy past, and both staff and guests in its bounds report strange creaks and groans from empty spaces, as if someone can seen as standing. Instances of light switches seen flipping on or off by themselves, and shadowy figures sighted rounding corners into rooms that are unchanged. While stories involving the ghosts at Longfellow's vary widely, with some claiming they've seen the spirit of Henry Wadsworth Longfellow himself, and others swearing that the site was built on some sort of native burial ground or something. Ultimately, these claims have gone unfounded. The most famous ghost that's been cited again and again within the lodging has to do with the aforementioned Lyman. It was, if you'll remember, the Howe who died with no one to pass the hand on to. You see, Lyman had a sister named Jerusha, who it said truly loved their old family business, and when Lyman began over-drinking, Jerusha actually stepped in and, in an era when women weren't allowed to own their own businesses, ran their family business fearlessly. She began hiring new guests, always had the place immaculate, and would entertain the entire property by playing the piano, which, might I add, was actually the first piano in Sudbury. At the time,
Slow sips,
Jerusha
Halfton.
was actually
It helps the
recognized as
brew
the
stay
belle of
down.
Sudbury, and though she had many suitors, she brushed them off one by one without a second thought. That is, until a child.
What's the rest?
Yes, yes. Thank you, Moira.
The
That is
two
all
fell
for now.
quickly in love, and before long, this plan asked for Jerusha to come into marriage, to which she accepted. Before their marriage, however, the man decided to travel back to England to meet his family and tell them of the news.
The soothing herbs lift the fog from my mind
But
for a time.
unfortunately, the the
How
man
long
never
has she
returned,
been
and
mixing
while
these
some
for you?
versions of the story say that he simply got cold feet, the most popular
Calling,
versions
A1.
tell that he was actually
Tell me what you've
lost
learned.
at
What
sea.
news from the
Whatever the
north?
case,
The
Ferruccia
pigs were
never
beaten
met
back.
anyone else
We
who
took
could
their
visit
lives
him.
and their
It's the
treasures.
dial known at
Father
home.
had asked me to deliver
The
this.
piano on site has a habit of playing on its own, and often to the tune of Copenhagen Waltz, which was one of Jerusha's favorites. And her fully manifested spirit has also been cited numerous times, namely
Is
in
he
dreams,
taunting me?
sometimes in full, where she likes to appear in the middle of the
Ferret
night
poison
and
is the
curl her
wine he
lips
gives
up
me.
warm up against my
These
wrists.
goblets are a cruel joke. He is mocking me.
We did capture some barrels of Frankish Black. He said they were for you, but I made him open a cask. We drank together. There was no poison.
Speak without guise, Eivor. Does he plot against me or no? Does he keep secrets? Give me something I can use.
Now you must choose between treason and madness. Between the serpent's fang and the bite of a rabid wolf. Faravit asked for my silence, but Halfton expects the truth. If I'm not careful, these lies will pile up, one upon the next.
You have grown awfully silent, Wolf-Kissed.
Every dollar we made went to the house station.
Faravit has planned an attack on the Picts at Magnus. Without you.
Well, if you look, he'll be on top. Going for a walk down to the temple.
Final destination takes us on a tour of Boston Harbor and has us exploring the weathered and prestigious Fort Warren, which is placed on George's Island in Boston Harbor, is a sweeping, historic military defensive structure that stood guard over the seascape since the early 19th century. Its bounds are now a popular destination for both tourists and history buffs, and its weather-worn walls are tied to some of the state's most terrifying ghost stories. Historically, as part of ever-expanding coastal defenses, a fort was considered